Aloha Kohala. It is 3 o'clock here on February 2nd, 2022, which happens to be 02022022. I'm just loving those numbers.
A lot of twos.
This is KKRLP 96.1 FM Kohala. You're listening to Intuitive Talk Story with EILA Allgood and
MICHÁL Anna.
And we are happy to be here today. We're excited. Lots going on in the world, MICHÁL.
Lots going on in the world. Wow. February 2nd. Can you believe it already?
Yeah.
And a lot of opportunity for growth. And I was actually reflecting with a client this week. And are we? Okay. And we were talking about how a lot of the dynamics between men and women are kind of and a lot of people are actually having kind of conflicts and struggles and, discords. And the opportunity that is to heal is what I'm going with, because we were kind of, EILA brought up, divine masculine, divine feminine. We were talking about this yesterday briefly. And
and what is that? There's men and women, and we often categorize somebody. Oh, a man is are these things, and a woman are these things. But because we're in this time of a lot of gender bending, where people are looking at their gender identities, it has opened up the world of, well, what is masculine and feminine, and aren't I both of those things, and aren't you both of those things, and how do we balance that? How do we honor that and not make something wrong because it isn't what we are? I was just out playing pickleball yesterday. I played pickleball and tennis, and it's fun, but people get competitive. And I was thinking about this when I was out on the court. Is like everybody likes to do well and likes to win, but not at the expense of somebody else. And I was thinking about that in terms of masculine and feminine energy, that there's this need to win or this need to power over, and that's not what it's about for me. I think about it more as let's help each other get better, let's have fun, let's improve our skills and connect as human beings. That's what it's all about for me.
So I'm going to stop you there, a few points. I was like, one. Okay, so you brought up gender bending and masculine, feminine. So I'm going to say actually two separate issues. The gender bending is a whole issue on its own and offers a lot of exploration. But to explore a divine masculine and feminine, we don't have to be gender bending. We can just be exploring our divine Christed being, however you want to say that. Mm-hmm. Because each and every one of us, regardless of the other, is a divine masculine and divine feminine energy. But we can even take that out of more of that labeling context. We could call it alpha and omega. It's not necessarily, we don't put this label of male and feminine. So there's that, which I want to explore some more. Mm-hmm. I'm going to set that here while we talk about what you just said about the pickleball and the guy and the exploration of competitiveness. So I'm going to say that's also something separate. That to me is a 3D model versus a 5D model. We've just attached some really negative qualities to masculine energy because we've been in an abuse of patriarchal, an abuse of masculine energy. It's been inverted and it's been not in balance. Mm-hmm. So that imbalance of masculine energy has created those
power dynamics
and exertions, but it is not what masculine energy is. Masculine energy in its pure form is dynamic, it's activating, it's manifesting, it's creating, it's being direct, it's being safe, it's knowing, it's wisdom, right? These are masculine qualities. Those are not negative qualities at all. They're the high qualities of masculine energy. We've just been fed a lot of the negative qualities around masculine energy. We've also been fed a lot of negative qualities around feminine energy. What do you throw like a girl? What are you, a sissy? Like those, that implies that feminine energy is weak.
Yeah.
Whereas feminine energy is super strong.
Right.
Because that's, if we go the alpha and the omega. feminine, that the omega energy is receptive, intuitive, connected to source, draws in, attracts, has also wisdom and a deep strength, because a deep strength has to be held by the omega energy to allow the alpha to do its job, right? They work in harmony and balance within the self, first and foremost. So we've attached a lot of false and negative or misconstrued labels or concepts to masculinity, femininity, which aren't really even true. But that competitive energy, I'd say, is our 3D model, where we've been business, life, and competition, one up your deal. That was all through the last decades, right? We've been slowly moving out of that paradigm into one of cooperation, which then lends us into some of our other talks we talked about, but is a more of a 5D model, or one based in harmony, love, cooperation, seeking to understand, compassion, empathy, learning and expanding these qualities.
Well, and as you're talking about the masculine and feminine, the word equity comes up for me, which is within ourselves, having that first, knowing what the different qualities are. And you can research this anywhere. You can find more about it for details about it. But to know, well, where am I on this? Do I have these qualities? Do I have these qualities? And finding that balance so that we don't get too far off balance in our human beingness.
Yeah, well, I think the exploration is that continual peel away to create. I think the key word of this year should really be surrender. Surrender, because that's what it really takes. It takes us to surrender and be vulnerable to ourselves and see what's really there. So in that surrender, we peel away what we think is ourself, and we then allow ourselves to be what we really are, and we allow ourselves to come into the true knowing of our beingness. And that allowing in and of itself is an omega quality, right? We allow, that's omega. We direct, that's alpha. And so we think of this balance in the self. We know, when am I enacting alpha? When am I enacting omega? How am I moving? I just start to notice, what energy am I activating? What am I in right now? Maybe I'm doing a little bit of both. Maybe I'm balancing both together. Now, this becomes really fun exploration when you're in relationships with other people, because often, and here's touches on your gender bending, is that it's not actually about whether you're a man or a woman. That is true in that you could be. It's about who's holding the alpha omega energy, because we're seeking wholeness. So what if let's say right now we're not going to both be in our masculine if we're in a relationship dynamic. One has to move into more of that omega. One is an alpha. If we're both in our alpha, we're going to be at each other's heads, right?
Like two roosters.
Two roosters. So, and I definitely know that one. So, but we have to make a conscious shift. Am I moving into my omega right now? And strong ladies out there, it's a real conscious shift, because you'll be amazed at how much you're navigating your alpha energy, that directive, making it happen. And so allowing yourself to move into that grace of, I can just be, breathe, allow, receive. And meditation helps us do that, come into that quiet place and, draw into these places within the self, right?
When you're talking about surrender, there's something that comes up for me around surrender and power, that as a female, having grown up as a female in this culture, I felt like I was always often surrendering to the greater society, family, what was expected of me. And so now when I see those two words together, I'm like, well, how do I know when I need to surrender versus I need to really stand my ground and be true to myself? And And do those things have anything to do with one another? Yeah, you're writing. So what comes up for you?
I just wanted to remember the words and just have them there.
Yeah.
A lot actually, because surrender. When you're saying that, we often, and that goes. My first thought was, well, the wound. Well, that's because there's still wound there. When the wound of being a woman, having a man, we can just know the story in general. America, man's world. There's pain there. There's injustices that have been laid. So we have to work through the healing processes to not be in wound about something, so we can get into neutrality. We can't actually see it for what it is until we ourselves are neutral about it, because we have pain. So it brings up something in me. So now when you're asking me to surrender, I'm attaching it to this situation. There's, let's say, the mean guy is in front of me, right?
Yeah.
And, I'm like, surrender, just be loving and kind. Oh, well, no, that's giving my power away. I can't do that. Well, that's because I have a wound still, that if I do that, for me, it might still be giving my power away, because I still feel like, well, I'm giving my power away. And if I feel like I'm giving my power away, well, then I probably am.
Yeah.
But if I'm seeing it from a different vantage point, and I'm seeing that it's actually not about Joe Blow in front of me, and he's, poor thing, he's in his own issues, his own thing, and it has nothing to do with me. I don't have to take it personal. And I surrender, not to the guy in front of me, I surrender to God. I surrender to God, to my connection to source. Like, I choose to be an infinite being of love. That's the work right there. Is it's my connection to God, to source energy, is the foundation of everything. It's the driver of all things, and it is the whole shabam, is bringing ourselves into alignment, connected to source, and holding our power. And power in that sense, to me, is about holding our own energy and knowing that you are a divine being, worthy of infinite love, light, and grace, and that knowingness.
So maybe as we're talking and I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, the word power is loaded.
Yeah, there's another aspect.
Yeah, so maybe what I'm doing with that is I'm thinking about power over versus powerful energy and our own energy. To be empowered, I can, in fact, it's easier for me to surrender when I'm empowered.
Yes.
When I feel I'm centered, I'm connected to spirit, I'm connected to source, I'm connected to the earth. Then I really don't have an agenda. My agenda is to listen.
Exactly.
And I mean, that's what we're here doing, is listening for the next thing. Like, we don't come in with an agenda because we want to be open to what spirit has to say to us or through us. And I can't do that if I'm thinking and trying to control it. But if I can surrender to the process and trust is a big word there. Trust what's happening and what's coming.
Faith also is a big word that comes in there.
Yeah.
Faith is the foundation. We have to have our faith in source. Call it whatever you want, but really there is only one thing. Karaya Sata'ala Sonini Snanini, I am that I am. I honor all beliefs and paths. So whatever you resonate with, take that and bring it forward. But it's your connection to your divine source energy, which is really the commitment to know thyself, is what that really looks like, because it means I'm willing to look at the places I don't want to see. I'm willing to be honest, but I'm connected to God. So I'm willing to surrender, because I'm surrendering to see myself. Because anybody who activates me, like I've talked about before, is just a reflection and a mirror. And if they have the ability to trigger something in me that makes me feel uncomfortable, then that's mine. It was there prior to my interaction with this person. They're just showing me it's still there. And I have the opportunity to go, that's still in me. Ooh, I think I need to work that with. Where's that coming from? Let me breathe into that. Let me talk to my inner child. Let me get clear. Whatever that process looks like for you. We've talked about a number of processes. But at any rate, that getting clarity, right, of what's really happening. It's the process of knowing thyself. And power, the word power, as you said, brings up a lot of things. So when we say, don't give our power away, this whole game, as I've talked about before, is about not giving your power away. It's about trusting yourself, knowing that I am worthy, that I can trust my own information, I can trust source, divine light, and listen and be guided and know I understand, I trust my body and myself more than I trust what you're telling me about myself. Right? That whole premise of power. There's that. That's what we're talking about, which is empowerment, like you just described. Now, the other aspect of power, which I was having this conversation this week, which was around power and love. So now when we put it in those terms, now we are like power becomes that kind of, I want power because I want to be powerful. Now that's a different concept than, wow, this is really powerful being with you, EILA. That's we feel connected and joined in an energy.
And not an egoic.
And it's a possession. Yeah. When something becomes possessed, it changes it. It no longer is pure. Because, and I say this a lot, unattached and amused. Because unattached and amused, we can have everything we want. We are the children of the infinite most high, but we need nothing. Do not be attached to it. You know, the more you let go, the more you get to have, right? Because it's not those things that define us. It's our allowing and letting go. We just get to be blessed, and it's how we're perceiving our reality. So when we search for power, like I want power, that becomes something else because now I want to have it. And that's different. Now the choice becomes, am I wanting to walk in love or am I wanting to walk in power? Do I want to have ownership of this thing, or is it something that flows through me and I am a conduit of infinite love, as are you, if you so choose to be? That's the difference. So once again, to me, it always goes back to the simple love, power. You could say love and fear. You could say, black and white. We can go with the duality back to the alpha omega.
Right.
There's all those duality points, right, that we're operating from. But then as we move into love, we kind of move into a higher realm where now it becomes of service. That creates a third piece, which really isn't about the self anymore. It's about the greater good of all. And that greater good of all is part of being connected to source energy, because in connection to all that is, if there is only one thing, it is all one thing, then gosh, I have absolute care for, actually everything I see, because it's all me.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I think the point of, that's something I read recently, being how we're evolving to be in service. And by being in service, we raise our vibration, and there's much more joy there. And I know there have been some people in the community who have found that out through being in service, because the pandemic threw them into new situations.
Right.
And we've all been through whatever we've been through over the past 2 years with this pandemic thing. And it's where are the gems? Where are the what can we take from this experience that can empower us?
And I'd love to ask a question out there, like, just reflect. Where have you put your energy in these past 2 years? Have you been putting your energy towards what you'd like to create? What excites you? What opportunities are helping you grow, expand? Are you breathing into your challenges and allowing them to teach you and learn? Or have you been on the television? Have you been choosing to buy into any fear? Are you choosing to feel scared or isolated? These are choices that we get to make on how we feel. They're not even physical choices. Like, you don't have to go anywhere to feel one of those. You could be in your house feeling either of those things, where it's not about physical space.
Yeah, and it's how you focus your mind too.
Right, exactly. Where are you putting your energy? So If you've been putting your energy somewhere that you don't think it needs to go anymore, and you're going, aha, maybe, wow, I want to put it towards love. I really want to be in harmony with myself. And, and if you're thinking that right now, going, EILA, MICHÁL, thank you. I'm going, yay, awesome. I feel so great. Yay. If you got that right now, awesome. So guess what? The fun part is we can choose right now. You can just go,
change it right this second.
I'm not going to choose that anymore. I choose love. I'm going to choose to embody love. You speak it out loud, you claim it, and you reprogram your brain, your body, mind, computer, this incredible spaceship. You are a soul within navigating. It's got all these programs in it. Well, you got to reprogram it. So I choose now to embody love. Whatever it is you're needing or wanting to change, put it in. Tell yourself what your this is how I operate now. This is what it is. It's no longer this, it's this. You're making a conscious choice. You're committing to it. That has a lot of inertia, a lot of mana. It's you're creating with your words all the time. We've talked about this before, but spelling, what do they call it? Spelling. Well, your spells. You're creating spells. In the beginning was the word. Everything you speak, you're creating. So as you speak, you can empower yourself to change behaviors, actions, and patterns. Ask and you shall receive.
And it can begin by listening to yourself. Like, listen to how you speak. Or if that sounds complicated, listen to how someone else speaks and how it makes you feel.
You learn a lot from other people's reflections. In fact, that's the only way you can see yourself.
Right. If somebody says to you 10 times today, you should do this, or you should do that, or you should do the other thing, see how you feel when that word lands on you, should. And then think about, boy, I say that an awful lot. Maybe I want to rethink that. And I'm just using that word because it's so easy.
It's such a good one. And I've had this experience so many times because, oh, wow, that really horrible thing that person's doing, that's me. I do that. Wow, that's horrible. That doesn't feel good. That's not a good idea. That's not a good way of being. Thank you for the note. I'm taking that note. I'm going to change that behavior. I'm going to heal that. Mahalo. That's like the choice that's given right then for us.
Right. In every moment.
Every moment is to see it. And that means getting real with yourself. And that's the hard part because we do create pretty, depending on your wounding, we create a wide array of defense programs.
Yeah.
That go, no, not getting in that.
And also blaming somebody.
It's part of a defense program.
Yeah. So, somebody says something that you react to, and it's about, you make it about them.
Oh, I was just happened to me yesterday. I was sitting with, and I really only said, here, would you like to have would you like this? I was just giving them something to help them. And I'm just sitting there, and they were having a hard time putting whatever they were putting together. Like, well, you're making it hard for me. You're not making this easy for me. I'm like, I have actually said nothing to you. I've only tried to give you a piece to help you. Other than that, I'm not actually in this reality. So you're projecting that on me right now.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be quiet and just mind my own business and let you do your work.
Yeah. And hold space. Hold the space of love.
Right.
And let go.
Right.
Yeah. But it does take this constant listening to what we're doing, what we're saying, what our thoughts are when somebody does something and we react to that. It's like, okay, is that about them or is that about me? It's probably about me, so let me look at that.
It's always
and not
about us.
I know.
I mean, of course it means other people have their stuff. And
they're responsible for their actions too.
I'm responsible for how I react.
Right.
Like if I get involved or not. Like I'm not responsible if some guy can start yelling at me on the street. I'm like, whoa, obviously that guy's had a bad day. That's not my fault. But why did it show up in my movie?
Exactly. Like, where's my energy at today that popped in? Yeah.
It's not, I'm not my response. Oh God, I didn't do that. But it showed up in my movie for a reason. And most things do show up. It's your movie. It shows up to show you something. How many times have you been on, flip on the radio and it's like the perfect song for the moment
oh my gosh.
that you're driving, right? It's your movie. That's why you're directing it. Flip it on to what do I need to hear right now? And when you know that, you're like, let's see what the radio has to tell me now.
I do the same thing.
Right?
I love it.
Right? What are you going to tell me? You got a message for me, I'm sure.
Right.
Actually, who else I love? The Sacred Heart Catholic Church here at the bottom of do they have signs out every week? Their sign right now says, love is meaningless without action.
You know, I had a reaction to that.
Ah, interesting. So here,
You tell me what
I'll tell you what I heard.
Tell me what you
heard.
heard.
What I saw was, talk is cheap. Talk is cheap. Don't speak the words if you aren't going to embody them. It's like the parent that says, "Do as I do, not as I say."
Mm-hmm.
That's what I heard. Like, if you're saying like, yeah, act loving. Shut up and get over there.
Yeah.
Love is, you say you love me, but your love is meaningless without action of kindness and joy behind it.
Right. I guess I was, that's so interesting. So how we can all have different experiences. So I immediately was like, I don't like that, because for me it was saying I have to take an action in order to love. Can I just be in a place of love and emanate love and love? Why do I have to do something in order to show that I love? And I'm not just talking about a particular person. I'm just talking about in general. Like, I want to be the love. And that doesn't necessarily mean I have to do something.
So I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And I actually think I interpreted the quote to be directly related to interpersonal relationships, not to self-love, like love as a vibration. To me, there's love as like an entity, like an energy that we share when we get like, I love you, I'm willing to do these things for you because I love you. Well, in essence, I love everyone, but that's a specific love that I've made an agreement around that has this specific love energy that we've made agreements of intimacy, of connection, etc. That's one type of love. Right. And more of an eros love, we might say.
Yeah.
And then there's, which is an agreement, and to me is meaningless without action. Because we have to show up for one another. I need to show you my love on a daily basis. I can't just say, well, I love you. Don't you know it? Don't you know I love you? What? Like I have to show that. And yes, I want to understand you. Let me listen. Let me be attentive. I have to show you my love through my actions. So I took it to be interpersonal. Now, the love you're speaking of, I think of that as a vibration. So this gets into love as a frequency, which is more what we talk about 3D to 5D kind of stuff, which is now love as a vibration, which means it's not an emotion at this point. It's a vibration of what I sit in and how I operate as a being. So now if I'm moving into love, then I go higher, right? That goes into more like appreciation.
Right.
Gratitude, joy, peace. Now we're in vibration. It's not an emotion. It's a frequency. Now that has no action because it's a frequency of beingness. But my interpersonal, I can be in a frequency of beingness, but if I don't show you something, EILA, and give some sort of action to show you what I'm feeling, you have no idea. So in the physical realm, in the 3D realm with other beings, I have to embody and do. I have to, in some way, it's not do something. I just need to embody it, which is an action itself.
Yes. Yeah. I think because, and we do, we do talk out in the ethers here. And I think because of that, and because I kind of spend a lot of time there, I think more about the energy of love. Like somebody can, for instance, somebody can bring you flowers, and because they love you, but you feel something weird with that because there's something else going on there. You know what I mean?
Talking about attachments,
right?
Talking about giving to get, or
or just like it's kind of like I'm investing in you. And what does that mean? If I'm investing in you, that means I expect something back someday, because that's what you do when you invest in the stock market. You want money back.
Right.
So as we talk at different levels, there isn't that quote. I think everything we're saying, it applies to all of it, which tells, which tells the people who are listening, there are many, many ways to interpret something as simple as that little statement that the Catholic Church put on their thing, their board.
Exactly, and what were they thinking when they put it, and what were they thinking about?
Right.
Where was their minds at, which I would think is probably more on the interpersonal. connection. But
Yeah,
you know what?
but you don't know.
That's how I took it.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah,
We don't
and
know.
maybe tomorrow I'd take it a different way.
Exactly. New
it-
perspective comes in.
Yeah.
And it allows you to see something differently. The statement, I am that I am, I've been saying that for over, 25 years, and boy, has it changed. And it's a real simple statement.
in how you feel about it, or
And
what it means.
It even means. The perception of it, what I feel, how I feel, all those things have changed with such a small, simple phrase. Know thyself, another small, simple phrase that changes as you, know yourself.
Right, and know more about yourself.
Right.
Let's take a station break and a breath, and we will come back with some more great talk here on Intuitive Talk Story.
The Kohala Wednesday Night Market returns to the Kohala Village Hub on Wednesday, February 2nd from 4 to 6 p.m. The community is invited to shop locally produced food and crafts and enjoy entertainment by Hula Halau Nakapuna o Kohala and Halau Kalanumi o Kohala. The Kohala Village Inn will present the Voices of Recovery exhibit. Photographer Malia Welch will lead tours from 4:30 to 5:15. Also, food trucks will be cooking up some local grinds. Partners in Development will have a booth with information on their foster children program. Local community police will be there to register families for Keiki ID. Community social service navigators will help people with information and assistance about programs for rental assistance, SNAP benefits for food and nutrition support, the child tax credit, and the emergency broadband benefit program. That's Kohala Wednesday Night Market on February 2nd from 4 to 6 p.m. at the Kohala Village Hub. See you there.
Kohala is Aloha Country.
There's no place I'd rather be.
Tune in Thursday nights from 8 to 10
Where life is slow and easy.
for classic and contemporary country and Hawaiian music.
There's a place I call home.
Aloha Country, only on your community radio station,
Some valleys where I roam.
KNKRLP 96.1 FM,
Mountain streams and hillsides.
Kohala.
No Kohala is what you find. Oh yeah, we don't time.
Aloha and welcome back to Intuitive Talk Story with EILA Allgood, and
MICHÁL, Anna.
it is 3:32 here on February 2nd, 2022, and we've been talking about a lot of things today: masculine, divine feminine, vibrations, cooperation, alpha and omega, know thyself, empower, surrender, service. I love when you talk about movie, like you're in your movie. I feel like there's something about when you say that takes the seriousness of it all. It's kind of like, hey, it's a movie.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's actually a really good point on how do we get through all those pieces of ourselves, and the opportunity we have to do that in 2022 is pretty grand from my perception and understanding. And so I feel really humbled, grateful, and excited about what's available to all of us here and now. We talked a little bit about divine masculine and feminine in the beginning, alpha and omega. And so I want to share just on an energetic kind of more of the star perspective that galactically speaking, those energies have really been seeded back into this earth grid, that divine access to love and light. You can think of, it's been like love has kind of been more the nurturing feminine we would have thought of, and the light, the dynamic radiating of the masculine. But now it's like the feminine is also the light, and the masculine is also the love. So we are embodying, as we were talking about, not based on, your sexual orientation or gender or what you perceive as gender, but based on your own inner knowingness of being in balance and harmony with those divine energies we were speaking of earlier, thinking in that alpha omega, if it helps you see it more neutrally, and that you're just embodying these qualities and taking note of when you're embodying and how. So these energies on a bigger scale have been like available now, seated back into our grid. We actually really haven't been able to embody them both fully because of a lot of reasons. And so, but now we can. And there's a lot of deep things that we could talk a lot about in that regard. But I'm going to just say that energy is available. And if we so choose, that we can choose to work with that balance, that coming into grace, shedding the skin, surrendering, as we talked about, to the God of your heart, to yourself and the God of your heart, so that you can be in your highest self, to be of highest service for the good of all, right? That's really what it is. And the commitment, for instance, I make is, to serve my source fully, completely, and totally, and, for the highest good of all. That's really it.
Yeah, and part of that, as we were talking about before in empowerment, is knowing what you need, knowing what your body needs, what your mind needs, what your emotions need, so that for me, it's about not looking outside of myself for those things. Like, how can I feel joy today without expecting someone else to make me happy?
And that goes back to the movie. Because then you go, oh, there's nobody out there. Hey, I'm in my own hologram. It's my own movie. I'm the director, the main star. There's some extras. I've cast some people like as characters. Whatever I got to work out, that person's going to show up, probably 5 minutes around the corner. And because whoever is going to be in my movie is going to represent myself. Mm-hmm. And boy, if I'm paying attention, I'm like, oh, there I am again. Wow, look, that's still, ooh, because it's my movie. So why is that still in your movie? I have to ask myself, why is that still in my movie? It's got to be me. I mean, it can't be anybody else. It's my movie. It's me.
Right.
What am I still holding on to? What am I not seeing? What am I not allowing to release and let go? So back to that surrender, we have to be willing to laugh at ourselves, at the ridiculousness, and know it's a movie in that it's not emotional. The movie wants you to think it is. If you walk away today with anything, it's this: take nothing personal. Everyone is really just worried about themselves. They're not thinking about you. They're thinking about themselves. So we take something personal that's never personal. That person's just like spacey because they just came from work and da-da-da-da-da-da. And then it's not about you, but then you're like, oh, she was really rude to me. Well, that's because she just came from some messed up situation. It has nothing to do with you.
Right.
If we take it personal, which is what we do all day long, take stuff personal, and then we enact our defenses, our reactions, and we play out those I'm not worthies, I'm not good enough, and all those places. So if we can catch nothing's personal, so every time I'm like, someone says something that back to that, ooh, that don't feel good. Boy, that must be something. If I can laugh right then or know it's a movie, then I don't have to take it personal. I don't have to get emotional because the movie's not emotional. The game's not emotional. Mm-hmm. It's just trying to activate your emotions so that you give up your power and you give it away like a little faucet. Like it just wants to go, hey, you want to play? You want to play? Are you going to give into this? Okay. Oh, you did. Cool. I'm in. I got a line in. We got about 25 watts coming in on this line now. We could amp that up. Can you turn that up a little bit with the irritation, please? We'd like to get a little more.
We want to irritate her a little bit more.
Yeah.
Wattage coming out. Yeah. Well, as you're talking about movie, I was visiting with some people the other day, and I noticed that we laughed a lot in the 2 hours that we were together, and I don't know these people very well. And I walked away saying, you know what? I want more of that in my movie. I love to joke around. I love to laugh. And not that everybody doesn't, but everybody doesn't. So I want to attract more people who want to have kind, loving fun. Like my movie, I want it to be kind of a romantic comedy adventure.
When you can have whatever you want. That's the beauty of it. But how do you get that? Well, by facing the mirrors and by peeling the layers of the things that hold us back. Because that quote I shared, I think last show, is it's not about the most fit, but who can enjoy it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you can only enjoy it if you've dealt with yourself, because if you're feeling insecure, unworthy, then that's going on in your head. You're not enjoying something.
Right.
If you're feeling like, oh, I don't do enough, then you're not enjoying it. So if you're actually enjoying and having fun, that means you feel good about yourself. That means you feel like, you know what, I deserve to be here right now. I can take up space. I love myself. I can laugh and be present. And I can laugh at myself because, well, it's just a movie anyway. It's not all that serious. And boy, everyone actually is making mistakes. We all have ridiculous movies. It's not like mine or theirs.
Nobody's is better or worse.
And everyone's is nuts.
And we're in our own reality
Yeah.
anyway, so there's no judgment.
No judgment.
It is what it is. Yeah.
You're creating it.
I think one of the things that has helped me to be more present with my movie was interacting with my little grandson. Because when you interact, and you work with kids all the time, when you interact with children, they're just right there. They're so present, and they don't care about anything that happened yesterday or tomorrow. And that calls something out in me that I like. I like that. It's like, I'm here now. I'm doing this now. I'm not thinking about that or that. And
well, and like I've said, working with kids has shown me as a, energy or all these other things, kids are a real easy way to see like what's been put in there already. Like I know, take 2 7-year-olds. One is confident, not thinking at all about what anybody thinks, and is just eager to learn because they've been supported, loved, and held at home.
Yeah.
They've been like empowered at home.
Yeah.
The other child has been, parents, maybe they argue, or maybe they have more other things going on, or there's discrepancies. That child feels more insecure, is more concerned with whether he's doing the right thing, whether he's, I don't know if I'm good enough, and feels more. And you can see those patterns
you can
develop
see
very early on.
Right, that insecurity and that.
Most of our patterns really develop from 0 to 7 or past life. I mean, we come in with a lot of things because we're getting out of a series of hardware and implants and whatnot, with that, as well as our own wounding. So, but we then, that 0 to 7, it kind of sets in this ride on this, your incarnation right now. You get a lot of those wounds are set in right then. So we're unpeeling those first wounds. And so they say, like, I believe it was the Arapaho tribe, I don't have children of my own, but that they birth and hold a baby is never not next to a body for the first 6 months of its life. It gets held sleeping constantly
Yeah.
for 6 months straight, and that creates such the like connected bond of love and security and wholeness that that child is literally got this extra like I'm totally me, I can do what I want, I'm secure. And then they don't have as many, like the amount of like confidence, security, support that you feel, because it's energy that we're all feeling energies. And as children, what we don't realize, the wounding, back to this, like we go, oh, well, you know what? Everyone had it rough. So what? My dad was like that. So what? Everybody's dad was like that.
Yeah.
We do that. We kind of like excuse stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, you know that now as an adult. But think about it, if you got kids, you see a 2-year-old doesn't get that. A 2-year-old's not going, oh, yeah, I understand. That's my dad, and he's just a blah, blah, blah. A 2-year-old just goes, I feel hurt. You're not here.
You're not paying attention.
You're not paying attention to me, or whatever it is. It's a real visceral feeling. So the child within us doesn't make that differentiation. So that wounding gets set in with that 2-year-old energy, and then it just stays there because we don't really ever process it. If you go back as an adult and then look at it with your 2-year-old, like, let's process like you would your child.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that energy. What just happened? Let me show you what just really happened, and show you don't have to feel bad or give your power away. And then you're recollecting your power. That's really what we're doing. You're doing that with yourself. It's not unlike what you would do as a healthy parent.
Right. Trying to be there, help your child through something. So you're helping your inner child through something, whatever that is.
Right. And giving them the space that it's okay that felt traumatic, even though it was no big deal. You have tons of food. So what? You gave your food to Susie.
Yeah. Well, yeah, we dismiss.
See?
Yeah.
So to go, no, that was traumatic. I'm sorry, that felt traumatic. What was traumatic for you? What what did that feel like?
Right.
And now do you see that, oh, I was just actually just trying to give Susie food so she also could eat. And now you see that and you explain it. You show,
Right.
okay. So you still want me to eat? Yes, I do. Of course, I would never not want you to eat. You're loved, you're supported, you're valued, you're secure. I'm gonna be here for you. Now there's understanding, and this little spirit self understands what just happened and can now let it go.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think particularly in Western culture, at least where I grew up, the disconnect between children and parents, it was quite a bit. Put the kid in the crib, and my mother's philosophy was you let them cry till they go to sleep, and I was like, I can't breathe when she's crying. What do you mean I'm going to let her cry till she goes to sleep?
Right.
It's not going to happen. But I felt wrong because after all, she should know better than me.
She was
Right.
your mom.
Right. And then it's like, well, maybe that's why I can't let her cry, because I wish that you didn't let me cry,
Right. And we learn.
Yeah.
And then we learned again to trust ourselves. Like, just because that's what she doesn't actually have any more information than I do, because she's just a soul on a journey on the earth too, like me.
Right. In her movie. Right.
Movie. So why did I give her all this power that she knows the way? She's just a soul doing her best too. And we both don't know. We're both just here.
Nobody has all the answers.
No. So, hey, nobody's got more answers than you do, really. So it's all about trusting yourself. And where am I giving that person's really fabulous and I'm not. So then I give my power away.
Right.
Instead of going, oh, well, they are fabulous. And, I'm fabulous too.
Right. It's not an either or.
It's not an either or. Yeah.
And there's also not the right and wrong. Like we were just talking about the quote on the board over there.
There's
like
not one right way of perceiving that.
It's just how you perceive it in that moment based on your entire life of experience and where you are in that moment, who you are, how you whatever.
What's going on for you that week,
Yeah.
It's all playing a part.
Yeah.
Like the radio. You turn it on, that's today. That's what's happening today.
Yeah.
This is what I need to hear right now. It changes. And that's back to what can we do now to empower, to implement, make the decision that you have the power to make changes. That's a big, powerful decision to make, that things don't have to take a long time. I was talking about this the other day. I can't tell you how much as a therapist I hear, well, it takes a while. Well, things take time. Well, it's going to take a while, but, eventually. It's a work in progress. People say those things all the time. And my question is, why can't you just say, yeah, my hip is healing now? If you said that every day, we'd probably be healed pretty quick. Instead of if it's a carrot dangling somewhere out there, well, it's, a little bit at a time. Eventually, I'm not really specifying when I want that. Boy, I'm kind of making that a dangling carrot that I'm just like reaching for continuously. I need to claim the carrot. Claim the carrot now. Like I can change this now. I don't have to wait for the perfect moment. It's like stretching. People go, oh, well, I just haven't had time to get to that yoga class. I got to get to the video and put it on. I say, no, just if you think about it right now, lift up your arms. Everybody right now, wherever you are, lift up your arms.
There you go.
Take a deep breath.
And stretch. Right. You don't have to go to
You
class.
don't
You don't have to put the video on.
Incorporate into life
Yeah.
little things. If you want,
Yeah.
I'm going to do it. Stand up, touch toes. Just take a second.
Yeah.
It takes a second to just have a shift, right?
Yeah.
And we just feel like, I feel so much better already. And just take a little side stretch.
And here's
back to
MICHÁL
side to
stretching and moving side to side and lifting those arms up. And and I do that a lot when I'm here because I sit and I don't want to just like after my show with you, I have another 2 hours, but I will not be sitting for
you have
2
to
hours.
Get up and stretch.
And I'll play a little music and dance a little bit and keep the body going. So so I do think it's important to put out into the world what you want now. Like you say, don't think about far in the future. It's like, no, I'm going to get this and I'm going to have that and I'm going to have this experience and my body is healthy and strong. I say that every day. Doesn't matter if I have a stomach ache, or my head's, my head might be pounding, but I'll still say my body is healthy and strong. I am healthy and strong. And then I'll ask for guidance. How can I feel stronger today? How can I feel healthier today? But I'm still putting out that I am healthy and I am strong because I am.
Yes. And you're asking for a feeling that you want to experience. You're not saying, I want to have a $10,000 hot tub.
No.
Which is a different ask. It's not something
That's very 3D.
And I just am bringing that up because we
Yes.
said the word whatever you want to get, and
Yes.
don't misinterpret that.
Yes.
Doesn't mean like getting something. It's more about focusing on how do I want to feel,
Right.
and then be unattached to how it actually comes into your life. It might come in a whole different way than you thought. Vision, connect, but then like it's like vision and let it go. Like
That's the
like
surrender.
The Buddhist mandala. Exactly.
You put
it
yeah.
out and let it go.
Yeah.
It may or may not be that, but I'm putting it out there. I see a vision of that. Wouldn't that be fun? You never know. Put it out there. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
It's just more like fun. Like, they make those beautiful sand mandalas.
Yes.
And then wipe them away.
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
But it's the
It's the
energy
journey.
has actually been put out into the universe too from that mandala. It created something. It created an energy. It may have created an energy and manifested something. Because it's our feelings in that way that we're manifesting a vibration, back to vibration. We're drawing a frequency into how do I want to feel? I want to feel safe, blessed, vibrant, enlivened. These words make us feel something. Now I'm feeling that way. Well, however that looks doesn't really matter as long as I'm feeling that, right? My story.
Right. It might not look the way, it may not come in the way you think it's going
Right.
to come to have that experience. I want to feel joy this afternoon. I don't know what's going to happen to make that
I can't be
happen.
attached. Well, I had to feel joy with my friend that I keep arguing with.
Yeah. Or my
Well,
kid has to call me and then
right.
I'll be happy.
Like
It's
that's putting an attachment onto a specific thing that can't possibly be met because you're not in control of anybody but yourself.
Yeah.
So the only thing you can control is how you're going to feel. So how do I want to feel? I can't control whether my kid calls me or not, but I can control my attachment to that and go, let go, let God, let it go. I want to feel blessed. I want to feel happy about my child. I want to feel in love. I want to feel like they're doing well. I just want to feel blessed for them.
And send them love.
Send them love. Whatever
Yeah.
that is you need to do, you get into neutrality. So the mantra is like, how can I get myself back to 0 point? How can I get to zero? Like where it's just like, got nothing on me. You got nothing. You got nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think that's something that I do my best to practice, which is rather than looking for someone to do something for me or with me, it's send them love and look at, well, what experience do I want today? Don't have any expectations. Expectations, a big word.
Big word.
Big word. If you can manage your expectations to zero, that's back to neutrality.
Yes.
You take your expectations of yourself and of other people to zero. And there's no disappointment possible then.
Absolutely. Boy,
Yeah.
and we've all gotten victim to our expectations, I'm sure. I know I have. And, releasing expectation, how freeing can we be when we are in just a state of grace, right? Where we're just in allowing and like kind of like everything's a blessing. Like, isn't everything great right now? And then EILA shows up. Great.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a
instead of
bonus.
like, oh, where's EILA? She's late.
Yeah.
I mean, right? I can have an
Yeah.
expectation, but then if I don't, everything becomes the cherry on top. It becomes, like you said, the bonus. And then how blessed and grateful I get to be. And then now everything's really amazing if I allow that whole mindset.
Yeah. Yeah. And one of the things that I've been dabbling in more recently is I'll want to come into town to do some things. And I'm like, I would really like to meet somebody in town and have an interesting, deep conversation with them. And I don't know who that's going to be, but that's what I ask for. And sometimes it happens. Sometimes I'll be sitting having lunch and somebody shows up and I'm like, oh, thank you. Okay, there we go. And then we have a connection and it's meaningful and there's no expectation. They weren't late. I wasn't expecting them. So it's a pleasant surprise and something positive comes out of that for me. And it's much more magical than, setting up a lunch date. They're late. Oh, they call, they can't come. Now I'm disappointed. Now failure, misery.
Yeah. So what's so fun and you bring up is like making room for magic. So when you make room for magic, that Well, there's leave room for possibility. Like maybe when if you drive somewhere every day or drive home every day, don't make it so you have to drive home and be right there. I got to be there right at 4. Allow yourself, maybe I want to pull over on the side of the road and just take a look at the view. Take a breath and go,
Yeah.
wow, isn't it beautiful? Maybe I want to watch a sunset if that's the time of day I'm driving.
Right.
Whatever it is, allow room for magic. Maybe I see this cool fruit on the side of the road and I want to stop and gosh, these people are amazing and I've just got the best fruit ever. Like that little magical experience won't happen unless I allow room for it to happen.
You need to have space. You
Yeah.
know, this morning I got up and I had walked a lot yesterday and I'm like, I don't really need a big walk today. So I was kind of taking it easy and I was thinking about doing some things at home and I was like, you know what? I want to go to the beach and I want to go on the boogie board because I haven't done that in like 6 years. So I got in the car and I went to the beach and I went on my boogie board and I had a lot of laughs by myself and then I came home and it was just like magic.
That's awesome. I actually went surfing for the first time last week too in like 5 years.
Wow,
I was like
cool.
surfed and it was magic. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, it's so fun to be back on a board, see people I know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
my local spot. Like it was great.
Yeah.
Like I was like, wow, I gotta surf again. Like this is great. It feels so
But
good. Woo-hoo-hoo.
and yet, you know, next time I do it, I'll do it. But I probably won't plan for it. I'll just see how I feel. Anyway, sometimes those experiences can be very
You followed the guidance.
meaningful. Yes. Yeah.
It was magic.
Yeah. So we're getting near the end here. We have 5 minutes left. Any last things that you want to share or?
I think what I'd love to do actually is just, I love tools. So energy tools, I think maybe we could just do a little quick energy tool
Yeah.
work together.
Okay.
And just a kind of, we could call that a visualization, a meditation, but it's just a quick like check in and we'll just practice getting into that 0 point. So what does that feel like to be in my 0 point energy? And how do I want to navigate the rest of my day right here, right now, right? So we just heard a lot of things. So let's kind of close our eyes, take a deep breath.
Do you want a little music for this?
Sure.
Okay.
And real soft, nice.
Yeah. It's a little native flute music.
Fabulous, lovely.
Okay, go ahead.
And so draw into your breath and just breathe into your belly. And as you exhale, just if you need to let anything out of your body, like let it out. And as you do, you can almost imagine roots of a tree growing down from your sacrum, all the way down to the floor and the ground, all the way to the very center of the earth. And as you drop those roots, just feeling connected to the earth. And allowing your breath to now let anything you don't need today go down those roots, transmuting it to light, sending it to the other side of the veil. Breathing. And draw yourself into the center of your head, crawl on your ear into the center of your brain. And just feel into this space here. It's just for you, a beautiful place to be, to look at yourself, to find solace, peace, figure things out, and come to this space. And from within this space, recognizing those roots firmly planted down into the earth, remain in the center of your head as you vision a column of light going up through the ethers to blackness and stars, and a beautiful red ruby heart, the god of your heart, your divine source light energy. Connecting into that heart and just seeing a lasso of white light coming down, spiraling from that heart around that column of light, down around your body, all the way to the center of the earth. And here you're just encased in your own beautiful essence, connected to the God of your heart, connected to the earth, and intentionalizing now I am connected to nothing else. And take an exhale. And I cut all cords to all sentient beings, connecting them to the God of their heart as I am connected to the God of mine. And take an exhale. And just drawing into what I want to feel today. More love, expansion, whatever you're needing right now. Patience. Releasing expectation, judgment, whatever it is, letting yourself just draw into, I feel joy. I want to experience laughter, joy, happiness, ease, grace. Just draw into that feeling. What does it feel like? I'm safe. I'm connected. People want to hear me. I'm valued. I'm loved. I'm good enough. Feel into that for 1 minute here. Just draw into that energy of feeling that intense love, light, connection. Breathe it through your body now. And just choose that this is where I'd like to stay and radiate through my day. I am protected. Put a field of protection around you now. Connected to the God in my heart, connected to the earth in my own beautiful essence. Ready to meet my day and draw in what I'm wanting to feel and experience. And I am open to releasing all that does not serve. In gratitude, mahalo nui loa kua, and so it is. Have a beautiful day. Aloha.